assume we are going to calculate the percentage, and according to the given condition, let's say our maximum possible score is 100, and if you got 100 out of it, then it should be 100%. Okay, then for that possible maximum score, what is going to be the percentage of 82 points? It's clear it's 82%, but just for practice purpose. So if you're just dragging this one down, the problem is we are going to get 100% on it. The problem is for this cell, it's really a copy of that C2 cell. And in C2 cell, is B2 divided by B2. That's our formula in there. So when you copy down that on one down cell down, then this should be B3 divided by B3. So 82 divided by 82 is around 100%. So we don't want that way. Actually, what we want is no matter what points we have here, it should be divided by 100, which is the possible maximum score. So there must be something we need to touch. The one way we can do that is we want to lock this cell, so B2, right? So the one way we can lock is put $sign on it. But another way to put that $sign in there is using F4 key. So if you just hit F4 keys like that, then it just circulate among these three different notations. Actually 4 including B2 itself. So let's just type or hit enter key twice, having $2. Then the meaning is we want to lock this cell by that, and if you copy down this one, we are going to get the right results on it. And to copy down like this, once again you can do that using the mouse, just dragging down using this button like that, or let me just show you one more time. So let me just return back to there. When you place your cursor at the down right side, then it changed like this, then just double click on it, then it just copy down the whole thing like this. And once again, we don't want that way, so we need to change it back to, so just click your cursor between B and 2 and hit F4 key twice and hit enter, and let me copy that one again, then we got this. Now final touch is like this. When you do that, it's actually copy all the formats in this cell, which includes this background is yellow. But we don't want that one here, then, or just regular style like this. Then after you copy down like this, which copies all the formats in the cell, then double click or click here, then one of the choice is fill without formatting. So we can fill down this whole thing with the necessary formulas, but without the formatting of the cell, which means includes this background. So if we select this one, it's gonna disappear the whole yellow backgrounds. So we already did this way before, so it just keep that way. So let me start from here again. Key F4 twice, hit enter, double click and click here again and fill without formatting, then you got these whole results. Okay, in this case, let's assume that whatever the amount we have here is going to be increased by 10% for the next month. So if we start with 1000 here, then in February we are going to have total 1100 because it's increased by 10%, right? Then how can you get that one? The original one is 1000 and times, you can type 1.1, but if you just put that information somewhere, then all we need is that cell reference here. Hit enter, will giving us 1100. Okay, then on March, it should be 10% more on this amount, not the original amount. So we can just copy this formula for March. But the problem is, when you do that, it changed to 0. The reason is, when you look at the formula here, it's G2, which is right, times G4, because it just copied that formula in here, which using this one, right? So when you copy over one right side, all these cell reference moved automatically to the one right, and F4 changed to G4, which is 0. That's why we got 0 here. So we don't like it. Then the key point is, yes, this F2 should be changed to G2, H2, so it's okay. But F4 must be fixed. It must be there, and we want to use that. Whatever, and key point at this moment is 4 is always 4, it's okay, but F must be fixed. We don't want to change that on to G4, right? So we can put $ in front of F, or simply you can just click F4 key, so it changes automatically these $signs. So what you want is $F4, because we want to keep F. 4 is still 4, right? Okay, so hit enter. Then we can copy the results here. Then these are the right answers, and just let's check it, because this is multiplication of G2 and F4, so that's good. And how about that? This is H2 times F4. So whenever we put this $ in front of it, it freezes that part, right? So right now F, the column F, is frozen, so it's always fixed that way for that calculation. Okay, now let's assume we want to calculate how much is going to be our pension after certain years later with a different interest. So let's go to this area, next to cell. Okay, we have this many different interest rates, and let's say yearly principal amount is going to be $3,000. Then with 10% interest after 10 years later, 15 years later, something like that. So we want to calculate that, and for that calculation we already have nice Excel formula which start with FV, which means future value. We are going to talk about this one later. Okay, then if we have that much, then it suggests what information we need. So it's very easy after you understand the formula and what we need in there. Okay, then first one in there should be the interest rate. So we want to put G12. Now let's thinking about our plan. After we finish our formula here, we want to copy down that along this column G. So when you copy down this formula to the next one, then this reference cell in here is G12. So if you just copy down it, then reference cell of that part in this cell must be G13. But we want to use the same interest no matter which cell we choose. So we want to fix this cell, which means we want to put a $sign in front of number 12, because G is still G no matter where you go in this cell, in these columns, but 12 must be fixed by that. If you want, you can also freeze that color, the letter too. So the meaning is, it doesn't matter, it's effectively same, but the situation is we are not only copying this formula for this column, but also for all these other columns too. So if you just freezing this whole cell G12 at the same time, then when you copy this one over there, still on this column it's referencing this interest instead of that. So we don't want to put $sign in front of G right now. So when you copy this one over here, G is changed, so it changed to H. So that's why we don't want to put $sign in there. Okay, then the next one is how many times? So it's going to be 10 comma and this one. Of course we need to touch a little bit here. G15 I'm sorry, F13 is this one. So when you copy down here, it's still F14, so everything is same. But when you copy this whole column for the next column, then we still want to use this number of years, not this column information. So 13 change to 13 should be all the way same, but F must be fixed for referencing this column, right? For this column input. So at this moment we need to put dollar in front of F for that. And the third one is, no matter which cell you choose in this range, we always refer this, which means what? No matter how you copy it, we always referencing this cell for that part. So we need to put dollar signs in front of number and in front of this letter F. So at this moment let me use F for key. So hit once, it's everywhere. Okay, then hit enter. Oh, and sorry, but for some for the calculation, actually in front of the F23 we need to put minus, because it's going to be payments, right? It's reducing, so this is what you're expecting. Okay, then we can copy down by dragging it or double click. So at this moment just let me double click, and for this part let me just dragging it. So by that way we could compare how much we can get at a certain years later with certain interest rate.